Hi.
Howdy. I think I got one of your packages.
Would you look at that? Say, you look like a cool guy. What do you say you come in and watch a movie?
Can we review it?
Absolutely. Come on in, I'll show you around.
Hey guys, I'm Nat Rogachevsky.
And I am Crawford Banks. And we're broke.
We watch movies during the day because they are cheaper.
Because neither of us have jobs.
And together, we form
The Matinee Boys.
Yeah,
We're the Matinee Boys. Cool.
Also, it's important to note, I'm not very short. Crawford is 6'3".
6'2". Today we'll be reviewing the most recent episode of I Think You Should Leave.
The movie Friendship. You want a fist bump at that? Okay, first thing, Crawford, did you like this movie?
Yeah, I did. Did you like this movie?
I did. This movie was directed by Andrew DeYoung, who has directed some episodes of Dave, Pen 15, and Our Flag Means Death, all of which were okay.
He also did AP Bio, which, like in high school, I had no interest in taking part of.
Okay, so what are some things that make this movie not a 10?
Well, first off, what would you rate this movie?
My hard letter is a 7.4.
That's not a letter. For me personally, on a number scale, I would probably give it a B+.
So it's important to say this movie is very funny.
Yeah.
It's a very funny movie, but it doesn't always feel funny.
It doesn't always feel like it's a straight comedy.
No. And sometimes I kind of wish that it just did.
Like it was just a silly excursion of Tim Robinson.
Totally. One of the things that we both noticed when we were talking about this movie was that essentially as soon as the ball would really get rolling with jokes, and you're like, oh my god, I'm actually watching a comedy in a movie theater and just feeling good.
Yeah.
They essentially include, not actually, but like a rape scene.
Or like slow zooms.
Yeah, that's what I meant.
That's A24 for you, though.
Yeah, totally.
What A24 does is they attach themselves to a project, and in order to reach a younger audience, they sort of turn it into a thriller, even if it doesn't need to be a thriller.
Total. It's like they bring a first draft of a comedy to A24, and they're like, this is great, but what if like someone cut themselves?
What if everyone is struggling with mental health?
What if they're addicted to over-the-counter drugs?
What if there's a haunted animal?
What if that animal is trans?
Hot. Andrew, thank you so much for coming in.
Of course. Yeah, I'm really excited to be working with A24. Honestly, I've always wanted to work with you guys. And I know you guys just watched the first cut. I hope you think it's funny.
Funny! Yeah! Funny, I mean, super funny. But I noticed the whole time I was watching the movie, I never really felt terrible on the inside.
And it's not that there's a subject matter that is what's influential to the mood. It's really the tone in the editing, the soundtrack, some of the choices of the shots. It's like right when we're about to be like, okay, we're just having fun, A24 comes in and goes, that's too fun.
Right. It's as if Rosamund Pike is going to show up at any moment.
There's almost like this haunting characteristic that permeates through the movie. And the problem with that is not that it's particularly a bad thing, but as soon as I become nostalgic, simply from experiencing comedy, it's pulled out from under me.
There you go with that word again. Comedy. But like, what is comedy?
Oh, I guess it's like jokes and like trying to make people laugh.
But is it? This movie reminds me a lot of films like Gone Girl and Prisoners, which I feel like aren't movies I should be reminded of when I'm watching Tim Robinson, especially because I know something super silly is going to come out of it. And I understand that a lot of people out there are going to say that's what the charm of this film is the genre bending, but I think it takes away a lot from the comedy.
I totally agree, and I think it's the same people that say that about this movie. Like, if you're in a position where you cannot sit back and watch, like, The Spy Who Shagged Me, we can't hang out. You know what I mean? Like, that's not a world I want to exist in, where we're not allowed to watch Fat Bastard eat chicken.
Cinematically, it's not very cinematic. Unfortunately, it is shot like a television show, which I don't think is a bad thing when you are doing comedy, because what's most important are the jokes. But if you're gonna try and genre bend with something more cinematic, the framing of the shots need to be more cinematic.
Totally. Like, and I think you should leave. It's not that they don't use or portray some dark undertones, but it always feels satirical when they're doing that. So when there's like a serious moment or a pan or some monologue that's not completely comedic within a Tim Robinson episode, you almost know that there's some ridiculous payoff coming here, and that's not always the case in this movie. You sort of just feel shitty.
Yeah, it takes you out of the comedy, basically. Like, when a cinematic element does appear, you imagine it's just going to take you to that next comedic step.
But I feel, right, like if we're making comedy and the purpose is to make someone laugh, really the response we're looking for is like a binary one.
Uh-oh! Naughty word! Patricia, do you hear that? We don't do that.
Oh. Yeah, I guess,
We're gonna need to see a second cut.
So now the question is a pure comedy allowed to exist in the current filmmaking landscape? Is there a market for it? Because what A24 taps into is something that we call
the moody bitch market.
Yeah, totally. And it's like, listen, I get it. People are complex. Not all feelings are good. I fully understand that. And I totally get that if you're A24, you're capitalizing on some very confused young people, not really able to deal with their emotions. And so when they watch something that makes them feel as strange as they naturally do, they're going to gravitate towards that and pretend that it's a great movie. So we'll talk about the positives after this, because it is objectively a hilarious movie. And for the most part, you're getting good chunks of comedy that builds. And then, and you tell us in the comments if you clock this too, there's this lull that hits, I mean, so hard. And I'm not sure, and I could be wrong here, I didn't make the movie, but I'm not sure that it was necessary. Because what we do, as we've talked about with the genre bending, is we're kind of like bouncing in between this space of like pure absurdity that is fun, and then it's almost like this like forced reality that like of course you'd feel shitty after being ostracized from a friend group. But if we're already in a place where we've accepted that like this guy's nuts,
right,
and we're having fun,
and it's like our job to hate him,
totally, then when this like lull hits, it's like, wait, no, I understand. I've watched the trailer.
I'm not fucking stupid, A24.
Come on, you guys.
One more point about the trailer. If you haven't seen it, don't watch it. You will enjoy the movie a lot more if you haven't seen the trailer. So from that moment, we start to mix this comedy, this absurd comedy, into a grounded reality, which, let's be honest, just doesn't really make sense. Because we're already confused why the wife character is with Tim Robinson in the first place, because she is played off as such a normal kind of person.
Totally.
Who would never be with someone that absurd.
Totally.
And if this movie was just a straight comedy, I'd be willing to accept that. Who cares? This is a comedy, it's not reality. But what this movie does, especially when that lull comes, is try and mix the two. Like, oh, this can actually happen to people. And it's like, yeah, it can, but not to this extent.
100%. And it's that point exactly where we can accept that there's one insane person and then reality around him. You've already given me the vehicle of this character to just tap into, and I've turned my critical brain off, and I'm like, I'm at a comedy. Then when you decide it's not a fucking comedy anymore, and then nothing works anymore, that's kind of where it fell apart for me, but only for a little while.
Side note, how did Tim Robinson never know his son kissed his wife on the mouth?
I don't know, but he also underplayed it. It's his biological son. It almost feels like he's adopted or something, but that's never stated.
That's a great point.
Yeah.
He feels like the stepdad, even though it's his actual son.
Yeah, which is a funny take, but again, like, when we're moving in and out of seriousness or reality, that's when those things start to, like, get felt.
Right. So Nat and I were talking about what would this movie look like if someone like Danny McBride was attached to the project, because we noticed a lot of similarities between Danny and Tim Robinson, mostly because normally they're both playing self-assured characters with deep-rooted insecurity.
The difference is that in a Danny McBride project, usually he's not the only insane person, and there's a better balance of, okay, here's a normal perspective, and then here's this like motley crew of retards.
Well, we've been talking about the drama a lot that A24 adds, and we just keep wanting to make fun of A24 because it's fun.
Yeah.
But Danny McBride, he's able to add these dramatic elements to his projects with a way that is still funny.
This is a weird example, but when Pulp Fiction came out and was like this huge, like, I don't know if the term is like genre bending, but it was an incredibly influential movie when it came out.
Everyone decided, do you know what? I need to make a movie that's on a timeline that doesn't make sense.
Totally. And like 90% of them were fucking dog shit.
Yeah.
So that's what we're kind of worried about.
It's like how Pink Floyd and David Bowie are these great musicians who had all these great experimental kind of tracks, but they also kind of inspired the worst music we've ever heard.
Like, as bad as it gets sometimes. So that's it. Like, this movie does feel different. It does, and I Think You Should Leave is already so influential. Like, everyone who's making sketch on the internet is doing I Think You Should Leave, essentially.
Yeah.
So, like, now we get this major motion picture that's, like, kind of a baby of it. And is this what people are going to try to copy? Okay, so we started by kind of knocking this movie down a peg. We thought it would be an interesting way to communicate some of our feelings.
Well, because everyone knows this is a good movie.
Yeah, and we really did like it a lot. And it was super duper funny.
Super duper.
Yeah.
I was cackling, personally.
Yeah, I was, there was a few moments where I, like, was legit, like, knee slapping, like, tapping Crawford on the chest, like, did you see that? I really love that. The crowd was going nuts. Maybe not one couple in the entire theater.
Definitely no girlfriends were coming to this movie.
Yeah.
Which was unbelievable. I mean, it was hilarious to see the dorks and nerds that were sitting around us in that theater.
I feel like if you're, like, single and you're dating somebody, a pretty good litmus test of, like, what a hard line and a soft line for you is does she like I Think You Should Leave?
Right.
I'm not sure if it's like a deal breaker or like a really sweet cherry on top if she does.
It's a little bit of a deal breaker, let's be honest.
Yeah, like how much, here's the deal, like maybe the sex is good and maybe she's nice to bring around and she probably is a decent cook. But like, how much can you connect for the rest of your life if she doesn't like Tim Robinson on a rope swing into a pool?
Right. Hey, not right now, honey.
Yeah.
I'm working.
Yeah. Not right now, babe. He's wearing the hot dog suit.
Yeah.
And it was also incredibly quotable.
Yeah. We think that this is probably the most quotable film to come out of the 2020s thus far. Maybe even in the last 10 years.
Mm-hmm. And sure, we've had kind of a dry spell on comedy. I'm sure every critic is talking about it. It's not a new idea that we're talking about, that comedies don't get made because they don't really make money anymore. But I just remember always in the Anchormans and the Austin Powers and the Step Brothers and all the Apatows and stuff before that, the Farrelly brothers.
Yeah.
Farrelly.
Doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter at all. Where'd they go? But so, it was like you'd watch this movie, be it with your parents or then when you got older, your friends, and it's like all you can fucking talk about. And when's the last time that's happened?
Right. Like the last time I saw a movie that I was laughing beginning to end from was The Disaster Artist with James Franco.
So funny.
Playing Tommy Wiseau from The Room. Mm-hmm. And that movie is still not as quotable, I think. Well, I mean, let's be honest. Oh Hi Mark is quotable.
It's an all-time.
But that's The Room. You know, this isn't this friendship is an original idea, whereas The Disaster Artist was more, you know, kind of documentary style.
Totally. Yeah, it just felt like a big deal when a funny movie would come out.
Yeah.
I feel like there was a lot of people. Like, okay, when's the last time that you were at a Halloween party and someone dressed up as a character from We're the Millers? You know what I mean? Like, it doesn't happen anymore. Because those movies suck. And it's also diluted our experience with comedy. Like, I have friends who'll be like, no, you should actually check this out. It's actually really funny. And it's like, did we forget about actually funny movies?
Right. Best Halloween costume I ever had was I was in 5th grade. I dressed up as Ricky Bobby.
Incredible.
I had the whole NASCAR suit and everything.
He lost his virginity that day.
It was...
statutory rape.
I want to cover the theme in this movie. I believe it revolves around relatability. Everyone wants to be seen as cool. Everyone wants to fit in. People are struggling to fit in. And we even see it with the coolest characters in the film, like Paul Rudd, which isn't a spoiler, but you will see at some point when you go to watch the movie. But I liked watching Tim Robinson steal Paul Rudd's character's sayings and bring that to people at his work or to his wife or to his son to try and make himself seem cooler. Mm-hmm. Just completely steal it. And honestly, I've done that.
We've all done
it. We continue to do it. These are things that people do because we find what other people do funny and we just try and emulate that in our own lives.
Totally. And it's like almost you're like filling this part of yourself that like you feel like there's a void. You're like, well, I don't have a cool catchphrase.
Right.
I don't have a thing that makes other people feel really comfortable when I greet them.
Yeah.
Or something like that. So it's, and we've all done it, but it's when you watch it on the big screen with a character as awkward as Tim Robinson's, you're like, oh, he's like eating a little piece of his soul.
Yeah.
And then like wearing it on his skin.
Yeah.
It's pretty rad.
Yeah. It feels like a Fatal Attraction type of film, mm-hmm. Where like someone just becomes so clinged on to someone because they put them on a pedestal, and then like later on realize, oh, this person is doing the same thing I'm doing, trying to be on a pedestal for like other people.
Totally.
Yeah.
Yeah, it would be fun if there was a part in the movie where, I don't know if you've ever had this, but you pull someone's line and you accidentally use it like in front of them.
Yeah.
What a bad feeling.
Yeah.
That is when you're doing someone's bit. I wonder if this movie, I can't tell, I'm just waxing, if this movie like needed an underlying theme for it to be on screen, playing, running, being watched for an hour and a half, or if it could just be the Tim Robinson show. I'm not sure.
Right.
I can't tell if it took away or added to it. My gut says it's a little bit grounding, so maybe a positive thing, but definitely took away in some spaces. It's more fun to talk about things that we don't like. Me and Crawford are cunts. So that's kind of where we thrive, is talking shit about whatever we can together. It's why we started this channel.
Because it's more fun.
It's more fun. It's a better time. You're getting to see a more authentic version of ourselves, which are sick people.
Cynicism is funny.
It's really funny.
Positivity, gratitude, it's not that funny.
It's just not. And although we try and practice it in our daily lives, it's not a good time.
Yeah. I mean, I could just post videos of myself masturbating, but I'm not going to.
Totally. Not on this platform.
Not on this platform. But if you guys want to follow the Matinee Bros on OnlyFans.
Who knows? A couple of good-looking guys. There's probably some money in that. But, no, it is really refreshingly funny.
Yes, because I'm sick of, We're the Millers. I'm sick of Melissa McCarthy movies. I hate Deadpool. Ryan Reynolds
So
ruined comedy with this self-aware, break the fourth wall, quippy one-liner bullshit. And are we really gonna say that Palm Springs is one of the best comedies of the last 10 years? Do you know what Palm Springs was? Fine.
It was fine, you guys. It was fine. It was worth watching.
Yeah.
It was on a streaming service, which is where it was supposed to come out.
Yeah. And no one in my daily life is out and about quoting Jojo Rabbit. Except Kanye.
Except Kanye. And that's another thing that we did want to talk about on this channel a little bit, is we love movies. And we think people should watch movies in theaters. But we're also realists, and money is weird right now. There's all kinds of reasons that movies are taking a hit. So we have a little, not segment, but a question that we ask ourselves is, do you need to watch this movie in theaters? And the answer is no.
No.
You just don't. I'd have just as good of a time on the couch with Crawford, dueling foot massages, seeing where the night goes. How much movie can we make it through before one thing leads to another?
I got that shit down to a science.
Totally. It does something to me. There's a sequence, like, probably one of the funnier bits in the movie for me.
Yeah.
You guys will know what I'm talking about. Like,
dude, I have to move around. That bit is so funny.
It's maybe the beginning of the third act or halfway through it that, there's all these really funny bits and moments and segments, but this is one of the funniest, like, sequences, if that makes any sense, where it's like a clear different turn in the movie. It's fucking hilarious.
Yeah.
It's original and hysterical. And then there's this part where you are thinking something might still be happening and you're not sure if it is, and then it ends up that it wasn't. You guys tell me if you know what we're talking about in the comments.
It involves the ending. Hint, hint.
Totally. And also, while you're in the comments, one thing that me and Crawford are not afraid of talking about is the stuff that we don't like. So if you are a person that thought Deadpool was a funny movie, let us know about that in the comments. You can dislike this video. I'm pretty sure it will help us monetarily. Either way, I think engagement is in the discourse. So if you think I'm mean when I say, if you're a full-time Marvel stan, it means that your brain is smaller than other people's, tell me that.
Tell me the truth. Tell me what you think when you judge my face.
Tell me what you think of me.
Tell me now.
Tell me what you think of this video.
I'd rather know than not know.
I have to know.
We must know.
If you made it this far, thank you for watching the inaugural episode of the Matinee Boys. Tell us what you guys liked about it. Tell us what you guys didn't like about it. It's our first time. We're having a really good time doing it. Big takeaway, this is an awesome movie. It is. There's just a couple things that really pissed us off.
Make love to that like button. Penetrate that subscribe button.
Limitless throat when you're sharing with your friends. Also, check out Crawford's Instagram. Check out my Instagram. I'm a stand-up comic. He's a movie maker. He makes dope shit. I make dope shit. If you like this brand of us fucking around, you can see more of us in the Instagrams in this section that's gonna be like here.